Very happy to be with you again. Last time we did the half of the first chapter. How many of you are coming first time? Like last time you were not there? One. Oh, a lot of you. One, two, three, four. Thank you. So what we'll do for your benefit, we will summarize the first chapter first in the first 2-3 minutes so that you've not lost anything, and then we will continue with the remaining first chapter. Okay. So we'll start with the prayers. So we have a prayer sheet called Mangalacharan. So the first line, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you will repeat this after me, and then the remaining prayers we will chant together. So this will prompt you to follow. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namo Pankaja Nabhaya Namo Pankaja Maline Namo Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangre Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan Sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna Anyamsha hasta charana shravana tvagadim Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Katanchana smrute yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet Vismrute viparitam sya Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. Wow, this is echo. So welcome to our Bhagavad Gita class. We are on the first chapter of the Gita, and I'll give a synopsis in just 2 minutes of the first chapter. Like if some of your friends or relatives ask you, You went for a Gita class. What did you learn there? So how to present the first chapter of the Gita in 2 minutes to somebody, so that you also can remember it for a long time. So I'll give an acronym which will help you remember the first chapter. DOUBT, doubt. That's the acronym to remember the first chapter of the Gita. So what is the first chapter all about? Arjuna, who is a warrior, is about to fight the most important battle of his life, Mahabharat war. And just before the war, he's lost his composure. He's feeling very weak and indecisive. But there are 5 main topics here. First, D stands for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. Dhritarashtra is the person who asks the question for the first time in the Gita. He says, what's happening between my sons and the sons of Pandu? And Duryodhana is his son, whose diplomatic behavior is seen here. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan are embodying duplicity and diplomatic behavior. And the first few verses of the Gita reveal that. And last time in the class, we discussed in great detail about how when we are duplicitous, what's inside, it will eventually come out. I was speaking about how our inside takes revenge when our inside and outside is not same. So the entire theme last time was on congruence. So these are the first few verses of the first chapter, which speak about duplicitous and diplomatic behavior of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. And then also the O, D-O, O stands for ominous results. There are certain auspicious or inauspicious signs, certain energies, which reveal that Pandavas may emerge victorious. Like the way Duryodhana is talking. Like for example, he's saying things like, oh, all these warriors are assembled here, they laid on their life for me. So basically what he's saying is prophetic. They will die for him. And also there are other ominous signs like Arjuna's chariot having Hanuman's symbol and things like that, which prove that the Pandavas are carrying more auspicious signs or blessings, more blessings. So that is the second topic of the first chapter. So this is what we discussed till last time. Today we will cover the remaining 3 topics of the first chapter, which is U, B and T. U stands for uncertainty. Arjuna has never lost a battle and this is the most important battle of his life. And last time we paused at a section where Arjuna, just before the war, he tells Krishna, take me to the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who are the warriors assembled here. And when he sees all of them, he suddenly becomes uncertain about fighting. He starts becoming nervous. So that's the topic we'll discuss now, uncertainty. And then we will discuss about fourth, B. B stands for bewilderment due to bodily relationships. So Arjuna is finding, I love these people, I can't fight them. He's suddenly going, it's till now he was perceiving injustice. He was abused. This is a classic case where the victim sympathizes with the predator. In abuse cases, we sometimes find that. A classic case of Stockholm syndrome. He is actually empathizing with the aggressors, and because he's bewildered because of affection and love. So that's the topic we'll discuss. So D, O, U, B, and the last one is T. Arjuna gives a reason for not fighting the war. He says because the traditions will be destroyed. Traditional culture, family culture will be destroyed because of this war. So basically Arjuna gives a few reasons for not fighting the war. One is, he says, I can't enjoy now if I win the war because whom will I share my happiness with? They're all going to die. And second, he feels compassion. Oh, I love them. How can I kill them? Third, he feels, sins will increase. It's a sinful activity to kill. And then also he feels family traditions will be destroyed. And then basically he's saying, I'm actually confused. I don't know what to do. So like that, this is the basic summary of the first chapter of the Gita. Is that clear? D-O-U-B-T. Easy to remember. D stands for duplicitous behavior of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. O is for ominous signs. U for uncertainty. B, bewilderment because of bodily relationships. And T for traditions and sins. So now we'll elaborate on the We have covered D and O. We will cover now U, B, and T. So the uncertainty aspect of Arjuna is now covered. So you can refer to verse number 28. You can go to first chapter of the Gita, verse number 28. All of you have. It begins with Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna speaks. So like last time, some of the shlokas, I will ask you to repeat it after me. Because we discussed last time about the power of the Sanskrit sound vibration. So you will repeat these verses, and in some cases, you will simply read the translations. Okay? So verse number 28, please respond. Arjuna Uvacha. All of you have access now to the verses? You can see it? Okay. Trishtvevam svajanam Krishna. Yuyutsum samupastitam. Sidanti mama gatrani. Mukam cha parishusyati. Sakshi, you can read the translations today. All the translations you will have to read because it's a birthday.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body
Quivering.
and my mouth drying up."
So Arjuna is now feeling, these are all the classic symptoms of stress. Text 29. Please repeat. Vepatuscha sharire me. Romaharshascha jayate. Gandivam sramsate hastat. Tvachaiva paridhyate.
My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow, Dhandeva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning.
Text 30. Nacha shaknom avastatum. Brahmati vachame mana. Nimittani cha pashyami. Viparitani Keshava.
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon.
Yeah. So these three verses basically reveal to us Arjuna, whom we never see in the Mahabharata before this. I mean, a person who is always clear and has tremendous clarity has suddenly become confused. See, in this world, you'll see clarity is glorified. And if you are confused, you are looked down upon. But the best warrior is confused. And I feel very happy when I read this because many times I'm confused. And not spiritually, I mean, about what to do. Should I choose this? It causes division fatigue, sometimes. So when I remember, even Arjuna was confused. So I become peaceful. So not knowing what to do is okay. You don't have to beat yourself up. Just because you see others are always very clear, smart. So let us begin with this. Even the best of the people can get confused. And Arjuna is right now in a situation of not wanting to fight. It's because we have many roles that we play in our lives. Some of you are daughters, wives, mothers, sons, husbands, managers. We have many roles, and for each role you have many goals. And when these roles clash, that is called as dharma conflict, or what is it called? Dharma sankat. When two responsibilities clash. Like when I was in US last year, one person said, "Prabhu, my wife tells me, my mom and dad tell me to come back to India. And my wife and kids are saying, stay in America. What should I do?" I said, oh, you're in a classic case of dharma conflict. That answer didn't help him though. He wanted some practice. I said, you are in a classic situation of Arjuna. Arjuna loves his family, but he has to fight them. Another man I met, he said, I'm in a situation in my career where if I work for 7 hours, no, if I work for 5 to 6 hours every day extra, then after 3 years, I don't have to work for the rest of my life. I mean, he explained all the technical things. That he just has to work, he's working already 10 hours. He says, if I just work 16 hours every day for the next 3 years, then I'll have enough savings for my next 3 generations. So I'm very comfortable situation. But my daughter is so sick nowadays and she's very attached to me and I'm very attached to her. And she's just 6. And her condition is such that the doctors say that I have to give her a lot of personal time and attention. So, what do I do now? So these kind of clashes, my daughter is most important to me, but long run, this job will help. So what should I do? Yes. So this dharma conflict is a classic. If you are alive and living in this world and you are having responsibilities, then you will go through dharma conflict. And if you poo-poo this, oh, this is not such a big deal, then I request you to just stay alive and carry on living. Very soon you'll be faced with this. The choice of two rights. So what should I do? So Arjuna is in that classic situation of uncertainty. And ambiguity arises because of that. Generally sometimes I don't visit Facebook, but my friend Abhishek manages it for me. So you have options for like and dislike or dislike. But many times in my life, I've gone to situations where I like something and also dislike. Is it possible to like and also dislike? But generally we want clarity. Either you like or you dislike. Either you know what to do, you should not do this or you should do this. What if I'm confused? Am I disqualified? Am I bad? No. Actually, if we have someone with whom we can share this, then that vulnerability is a strength. Arjuna is being vulnerable. Arjuna, is not a Mako warrior who's always won all the battles. And here he's going to break down in front of Krishna, who is his most trusted friend. So, if you are the right person with you, and if you're vulnerable, that's healthy. I want to do an exercise. I don't know how this could go terribly wrong, but let's try it. Because whenever I've done this with myself, it has helped me a lot. One exercise you'll have to do now. Now, I'll just give you a background. What is it about? See, generally we think, have you ever felt bad about yourself? Ever? If yes, please raise your hand. All of us at some point of time, we feel inadequate. And when we meet others in a social gathering, we know them from what they present to us. And we know ourselves from inside. And we feel weird about ourselves sometimes. We don't like ourselves sometimes. But others, they seem to be confident, happy. So then, even being vulnerable, we are very scared to be vulnerable. You see what an artificial lifestyle we are leading. Our social lives are so fragile actually. And you can't have close and meaningful friendships with anyone if you're always like, hi, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? I'm doing great. If you want close and meaningful friendships ever, the other person needs to know something about you. You need to give something to that person by which he can potentially exploit you. In a sense, that he can destroy you potentially. Something of you has to go there. But we don't. Which is fair enough. I understand life is tough and we have to, keep our cards close to our chest. All that is okay. But still, this kind of superficiality in all relationships can take a toll. So therefore, one of the first lessons we learn in the Gita is Arjuna's vulnerability. A warrior who's never lost is willing to confess that he can't do this. So what we will do, this exercise, you can catch someone either next to you or whoever. You need a partner. You'll have to pair up. Okay? I'll just give you 2 to 3 minutes. All of you have a partner? Just decide who is going to be a partner. You need one person, right? सबका है कोई? Okay. है ना? सबका है ना? Anybody without a partner? Okay, you'll have to pair up. You? है? ठीक. So now, what you're going to do is, if you don't like it, pardon me. You're going to share with your partner. I'll give you 3 minutes, okay? You decide who's going to speak first and later and how all that is later. If you don't know each other, introduce yourself briefly. And then you are going to share and also hear from your partner about something that you are sad about, something that you are ashamed about, something that you regret. I mean, some little bit. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying you do something. ज़्यादा नहीं, ज़्यादा नहीं. I mean, आपके ऊपर है. Something little bit. Is that okay? Can we do it? Or is it too much of an exercise? I don't want to disturb. Okay? Can we start?
Excited भी दूसरे का जाना.
That's a good one. नहीं, but genuinely, if you just do this, just थोड़ा सा देख के देखो अपना. Give a little bit of yourself and see what happens. Okay, we'll start. Your time starts now. Share with each other. Partner. If you have a partner, then what will you be doing? Writing. Yeah, you can introduce yourself also to each other. मैं थोड़ा. I was telling. Ashamed, regret. Wait. Ashamed, regret, sad about. One of the three, two of the three, all the three. Okay? What you have regret? Any regrets you have? Anything you are ashamed of? And anything that makes you sad? Regret, ashamed, and sad. Regret. काश मैंने काश और आश. Half a minute more. 30 seconds more. That's all. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. करताल के करताल. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We'll stop now. See, I know this is a very simplistic, exercise. Life is much more complicated than what we can do. But I just wanted to drive home the point about we can never have meaningful relationships without allowing some part of ourselves to be known to the other person. And Arjuna is teaching us right in the beginning of the Gita, it's okay to be human. We have grown up, I'm sure all of you also have seen this as part of your growing up. We always think that most of the problems in life can be solved. and I need to solve them. I need to figure out my life. And we see others are doing better. See, because when we meet them, they are smiling and they are confident. And I'm feeling weird about myself. I'm feeling inadequate. So I feel left out. So I have a strong need to put up a brave front. And then I think I need to solve all my problems. But do you know something? Most problems in life cannot be solved. They just need to be tolerated. Sorry to disappoint you. Some of you already must have realized it, at least a little bit. That many problems in life can't be solved. They just need to be tolerated. And then, if you have superficial relationships, it makes it all the more difficult. So therefore, Arjuna, right in the beginning, is teaching us vulnerability is a strength. It's okay to be human. Sometimes in the name of spirituality, we put up a brave front, all's well, with a halo around my head. No. Even spiritualists have human experiences. Life is composed of all emotions, and it becomes complete when we accept life in its completeness, rather than stick to only happiness. This is one of the biggest myths of modern times, that I want to be happy always, now. Happiness is my birthright. No. Till early 20th century, till late 19th century, happiness was considered as something which was bestowed upon us as a gift from higher forces. Only in the recent times, happiness has become like, I want to be happy always now. And if you're not happy, if you say, I'm not happy, immediately people think there's something wrong with you. It's okay to be not happy. You can't be happy always. It's okay. You're not bad. You're not mad. You're not crazy just because you're not happy. I remember once I was sitting in the ashram terrace where I stay in a monastery, and I had a hectic travel schedule, and I just come back and I was just sitting. I was tired and I was a little disappointed with some issues at home, and I was just breathing. And somebody said, what are you doing? I said, no, I'm just relaxing. Can you come for a meeting now? I said, no. Why? I said, I'm just feeling a little sad. I just need to reconnect with myself. So he said, okay, but why are you feeling sad? You feel sad? Are you sad? How can you be sad, Prabhu? You're a preacher. I said, I am sad, but I'll be all right tomorrow. It's okay. Just because I'm sad doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. You getting what I'm saying? So just being normal. See, we have spiritual aspirations, no doubt. And that we need to have, because that's how we evolve higher. At the same time, the first step is to begin to accept where you are. So Arjuna is teaching us to be vulnerable. Srila Prabhupada, who has founded ISKCON, I'm part of ISKCON, and we do the Hare Krishna Kirtan, part of Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada was a world acharya. He had thousands of disciples. And during his last days, he gave a power-packed class one day in the temple in Vrindavan about, what is death? Death is simply giving up of the body. We are the soul. We can transcend. He gave all of that spiritual class, and all the disciples were sitting very sober, worried, that he may leave us soon. And after the class, Srila Prabhupada is being carried to his room by his disciples, and he goes to the room, and he just falls on the lap of his disciple Tamal Krishna and says, Tamal, just encourage me. And then Tamal Krishna holds him in his arms, and then he makes him sit, and then he appreciates him. And then Srila Prabhupada hears it for a long time, and he says, thank you, Tamal, thank you. So when I hear this or read about this, I feel happy. I feel, theek hai. There are many instances like this. It's a human. See, what we are promoting now in the world is, this world is a perfect place, and it will become better if you just figure out a few techniques. And we have a lot of self-help videos and motivational speakers who will tell you 3 techniques to be happy, or 4 things you do and you'll get this. And we think we'll be happy like this in this world. Sorry to disappoint you, no. We'll actually be happy if we share. I'm not saying grossly, but we share that we're all suffering together. In our togetherness of suffering, we are bound. We are bound with each other because we are all suffering. And this is a more realistic way of being happy and being empathetic and being compassionate. And not superficially, putting up a front that all's well and everything is good. No. People are thinking of killing themselves. People are so fed up in life. So we need to empathize. We need to give love. So I remember one instance when Srila Prabhupada is very old, is 1977. And he is not eating anything, and he's telling his disciple, he had a bell. He would ring the bell, and the disciple would get food. And he rang his bell, made the orange juice, and when he came, Srila Prabhupada just blasted him. He said, I'm an old man, I'm hungry, I'm not eating anything for so many days, and I just want an orange juice, and you can't get that? Take it away now, I don't want this, take it. He scolded him. The disciple was intelligent. He didn't take the orange juice, he kept it there. And the disciple went away, and Srila Prabhupada sat in his desk, and after some time quietly drank the orange juice. And then he kept the glass there. And after some time the disciple came to take the glass. Srila Prabhupada called him, made him sit, and said, see, I'm an old man. I sometimes get cranky. Please don't feel bad. So when I read these kind of pastimes, then I feel very happy, knowing that, okay, you are a great spiritual world acharya, great guru, you have thousands of disciples, but what attracted me to ISKCON is this human aspect also, along with the highest spiritual aspirations. So this is the first lesson we learn in the Gita. Right away, Arjuna is weak. Okay? So we have covered out of the 5 topics, 3. D-O-U. And the 4th one is very interesting. This is bewilderment due to bodily relationships. So we can read the translations from the text number 32 to 35. These translations you can read. They are together. These 3 shlokas are together. Sakhi, you can read loudly. 32, 33, 34 and 35. Yeah, only the translations loudly. And all of you please hear attentively. This will reveal the bewilderment Arjuna is facing because of his bodily relationships and his need for pleasure and happiness. Yes.
O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kindle, happiness or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the 3 worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure we will derive from killing the sons of
Dhritarashtra. So you see here 2 things come up. One is Arjuna's compassion. He feels pain for his relatives. And also he's thinking, what pleasure will I get? And because of this, Arjuna is willing to forgive them and leave the battlefield. So many of us, many times, because of this bewilderment, we fail to do which we need to do. Arjuna is willing to forgive those who have perpetrated injustice. I don't know if you have experienced people who speak about forgiveness, and if you dig closely, you will see that forgiveness is a great virtue. But many times, instead of seeking remedy for the pain and hurt that they are going through, they want to artificially and superficially forgive. If the abuse is very intense, for small issues, forgiveness is healthy. But when are deeper issues, before forgiveness, you need to first seek help. Involve a third party. Like Pandavas involved Krishna. So forgiveness is a great virtue, but you can't cover up your weakness of the heart with words like forgiveness. That is one of the main teachings of the Gita. Because Arjuna is willing to forgive someone who has done a lot of injustice. And when we forgive someone because of our inability, because of our weakness, then we are actually, what are we doing? Anyone can explain what will happen if you forgive someone? Not because you really are forgiving, but because that's your weakness. You don't want to seek justice. You're a victim of abuse, but you don't want to seek justice, and you just say, I'll forgive him. What do you think will happen with this? Huh? You are a coward. Yeah, but what will happen? Injustice to yourself. What else will happen? Just 1 second. Peace nahi aayega. Actually, peace nahi aayega wo forgiveness se, because you're not addressing your need. What else will happen? Sir, sorry? Resentment will build up. Something else will happen. There is no solution there. Something else will happen. Exactly. The perpetrator of abuse will continue. You are forgiving him or forgiving that person, but it is actually your unwillingness to solve the problem. So if you are feeling powerless and insignificant, helpless, and if you forgive that person, please know that that is not forgiveness. It is simply, it is in two things. It is reinforcing your weakness and also making that abuser stronger, more powerful. Two things are happening when we forgive someone, which is what Krishna wants to teach Arjuna throughout the Gita, that by forgiving Kauravas, you are making them stronger and you are making yourself weaker. I don't know if you've come across, in my preaching 25 years of service in ISKCON, I've seen instances where a drunkard husband comes home and beats up his wife, and what she does, she thinks, I'll forgive my husband. But actually what is happening behind that forgiveness, two things. One is she thinks, maybe I deserve to be beaten. And she also thinks, this is too much, but maybe he's expressing his love by beating me. I don't know if I've heard people say this. That's his sign. That is the way he's showing love. That also happens. That's how we can get. That's how our weakness can overwhelm us. So therefore, this sort of forgiveness is actually not forgiveness. So Krishna wants to teach Arjuna that you are not forgiving now. You are actually weak. Sometimes, we have a very utopian ideal. Oh, just forgive everyone. If somebody slaps you, just show the other cheek. Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose, this is the difference. Gandhi said, if someone slaps you, show him the other cheek. And Subhash Chandra Bose said, if somebody slaps you once, you slap him twice. I mean, I'm not saying Gandhi is wrong. Please don't get. See, there are a lot of. Gandhi is a great man. Lot of things are there. I'm just saying, in this particular context, forgiveness is healthy and noble virtue, but it can't be justified for covering your weakness. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that's the lesson which Krishna wants to teach Arjuna here. So, forgiveness is appropriate when there is repentance also from the person who's done the mistake. And there is genuine healing happening. So, and forgiveness has to be consistent with self-respect and moral dignity. If you're forgiving someone, there has to be some dignity there. You can't be just abuse, So therefore, forgiveness works when the abuser, if the abuser is holding a degraded view of the victim and then you're forgiving him, that's crazy. You are distorting the universal balance. Dharma is basically the balance in universe, in the cosmos. That whole balance is upset because of your so-called forgiveness. This is very important principle. And in serious cases, justice is needed. Along with forgiveness. See, you may say, okay, we'll go for justice and we'll not forgive. No. Justice is for the past hurt and forgiveness helps us go forward. It's for making a better future. But for the past healing, for the past wounds, we need to seek justice. I read one nice quote somewhere. Forgive your ex, but make sure they pay your spousal support. So forgive them, but push them to jail if they need to go to jail. Because that forgiveness will help you move on future. Your future life would be peaceful. But getting justice will help you heal the past wounds. So that's how it is. So this is, but unfortunately in our society where we live, we have a lot of concocted ideas. And especially in a society where a lot of wrong is happening, we need justice also. And that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna, that we have tried all the fair means, we have tried all the peaceful means, and now if you're going to talk about just, forgiveness. And these complications are arising because of his not being connected. Arjuna has lost the connection with himself. So this is one of the main teachings of the Gita. You read in the second chapter. Krishna first begins with connection to self. Connection, and then you can show compassion. Compassion is basically contributing to others' welfare. See, that spiritual life essentially means two things. Okay, let's get this clear. You go to any spiritual path, spiritual life is all about two things: connect and contribute. Connect to yourself, be connected to the universal principles, and contribute to make somebody else's life more meaningful. So I want to ask you again an exercise, but this time you can just shout out your answers. What is it that helps you connect to yourself? What is your unique fascination in life which helps you to go deeper? Like, I'll give an example. For me, it is journaling. When I write journals every morning, however tired I am, wherever I am, I spend half an hour to 1 hour minimum. And I know this is the time when I connect. I'm in touch with myself. Like if you've gone far away from your home, and when you call up that person, you're in touch with that person, right? Like you want to be in touch with that person. So what if that helps you get in touch with yourself? Have you ever thought about it? If you're thinking about it, your spiritual life has begun. Congratulations. Anybody would like to answer what helps them connect with themselves? Yes. Morning workout. Yes, that is a first step, beginning. I go for a morning walk. And sometimes evening. The walk in nature, it helps me first connect to myself. This is called as Annamaya. The Taittiriya Upanishad, one of the wisdom books, speaks about the 5 koshas. And we go through the different layers and finally arrive at the Anandamaya Kosh. And the best part about this Upanishad is it says, it's not that Annamaya Kosh is the lowest. The supreme reality can be perceived in all the 5. Which means, even in your workout, you can experience divinity. Thank you for sharing that. So for me, morning walk, journaling. For you, workout. Anything else that helps you connect with yourself? Prayers, nature walk, spending time in nature. Listening to podcasts, where basically you're talking about knowledge. When you get good knowledge, I'll give you a technique. If you just want to make it more exciting. If you are a good talk of, say, Jai Shetty, Gaur Gopal, anybody, any spiritual leader, you watch it on YouTube, you may feel nourished. But I'm going to share something with you which may really surprise you tomorrow morning. Try this. You heard so many talks now, okay? Now take out your paper and pen and write down whatever you remember and whatever you have relished from that talk. And while writing, whatever comes to your heart, put it down. And then after that, you read it, you will be amazed. And you know what would happen? What you have written down and what you read, that will be yours. All the podcasts that you have heard, that is not yours. That is Jai Shetty's or Gaur Gopal or Sadhguru or any other speaker, Prabhupada. It's all theirs. But if you want to make it yours, writing is the best way. I'm sorry for championing the writing cause all the time. Because I think we have to be authentic. We are who we are. So writing is a great way to connect. Anybody else would like to share? Somebody cooking? Cooking helps you to connect. I know one lady in the temple. She loves to make garland, and she's in samadhi when she's making garlands.
Teaching.
Huh?
Teaching.
Eating.
Teaching.
Sorry.
Eating also.
Teaching, yes. Basically, you are talking about sharing knowledge, sharing, caring. And I was amazed. Just last week I was in France, Paris. I met a person who spoke so much about Indian values. I realized values are universal. It's not any specific. But I'm just saying, he is a teacher, and I asked him, what do you teach? And he said, I teach externally geography and mathematics, but internally I'm working on teaching everyone how to be a servant. He is not a Hare Krishna devotee at all, and he was speaking all Hare Krishna language. A complete stranger I met. And then he's speaking about how he wants to be a servant. And he says, the Prime Minister of our country, he's also a servant at the end of the day. We all want to be servants. I'm teaching my children to be servants. We want to contribute. We want to give. So I was like, wow. So I was seeing how evolved he is as a teacher also. And teaching is one of the most fulfilling ways you can feel connected, because one of my biggest inspirations as a teacher is Jambavan in Ramayana. Hanuman had forgotten his glory and valor, And Jambavan reminds him. And Hanuman leaps up and he comes back, and Lord Ram embraces Hanuman, saying that you have given me the best news. And Hanuman is a hero. Temples are made for him all over the world. How many temples have you seen for Jambavan? But teacher, that's the role of a teacher. We know Virat Kohli, but what about his teacher? So there are people who shape. So there's a lot of glory in being a teacher, and the best part is you are in the background. That's why in the Vedic scriptures, mother is called the first guru. But in the place I come from, a rural town, sannyasis are given a lot of respect, but more respect than the sannyasis mother is given more respect. So when she walks in the temple, because everybody makes, oh, she is the mother of the sannyasi. Because sannyasi is glorified in the society for renouncing everything. But mother's sacrifice goes unseen. So basically the teacher role is very, very sacred in the Vedic world. So thank you for sharing that. So these are the ways we can connect to ourselves. So we all have a unique fascination by which we can connect. And also you have a unique contribution you can leave behind. So this is the homework for next, whenever we meet next, you can do this exercise, take your time. What is the most unique way you can contribute to make this world a better place? It could be very simple, it could be grand. See, you don't have to add value. What you're doing doesn't add value only because there is external validation. It's not that only because the cameras are flashing and you've got millions of followers on YouTube, you are adding value. Let's get it clear. Success and popularity has no connection. Okay? So we are living at times when it's all about external validation. That's why we have to clarify all of this repeatedly. Till recently, even in our English language, if somebody didn't have money or somebody was not financially good, we would say he's unfortunate. So there was a unknown, unspoken acceptance that there are factors beyond our control. But now the language is, he's a loser. You see the punitive element here, like, meritocracy has its advantages. Okay, you deserve to be successful, then we are also saying you deserve to be a failure. We are simply not recognizing that there are factors beyond our control also. So therefore, success is not necessarily, people find it difficult to believe, you have something of value and there is no external validity for it. People can't accept. So therefore, I want to assure you that you can be a great contributor to the world, to Dharma, even if you don't have many followers and even if you don't have, one of the seminars I did, one girl came up to me, she said, I really want a lot of followers on my channel, I've just started. And the way she was expressing her intense desire, I said, social media is a platform for you to express what you have, not to seek validation, not to get worth. It is a platform for you to share your worth, not to seek your worth. There is a big difference between the two. She was trying to understand. She went back confused, I know. But the point I'm saying is, you do some homework, get back to me next time. You can share it with me personally also next time, also in the class. What is your unique contribution to this world? It could be to your family, it could be to your neighbors, it could be anything. So this is the second topic I wanted to discuss today. So now the last topic. So remember, there are 5 topics in the first chapter. First one was Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana's duplicitous behavior. Second, ominous results. Third, uncertainty. Fourth, bewilderment because of bodily relationships. And now comes the most important, traditions. So Arjuna is giving, one of the reasons he gives for not fighting the war, he says, Krishna, if I fight this war, so many people will be killed. I don't know if you've experienced this. Sometimes when you don't want to do something, children do this. They start giving excuses. And then they spin a yarn. You've seen them? Give so many stories and logics and aisa hoga. So Arjuna gets into that space. So if I fight this war, all of them will be killed. And then when all of them are killed, the women will be unprotected. And then there will be unwanted children. And then when unwanted children, then nobody will be doing the Shad ceremonies for the ancestors. And when that is not done, the traditions will be destroyed. When traditions are destroyed, he goes on and on. He starts blabbering. When you are confused, indecisive, and you don't want to do something, and you are fearful. So one of the arguments Arjuna gives is traditions will be destroyed. Now, We'll read some of the verses 39. Yeah, 39. You can repeat after me. Text number 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bibhavat uta.
With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
Yes. And then 42, you can please repeat after me. 42. Dosher ethe kula jnanam varna sankara karake utsadyante jati dharma kula dharma cha shashvata.
By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
See, Arjuna is speaking the truth, but is speaking in a different context. He is hiding his own weakness and all that, but the principle of tradition is being emphasized in this chapter of the Gita. And it is important. Traditions basically means carrying forward a legacy of blessings. When you maintain the same practices. Now, let me clarify. We're not talking about blind rituals. Sometimes some rituals become obsolete over a period of time, and when you hold on to them in the name of tradition, it creates disaster. Like, I'll give an example. Our Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, would give this story that once there was a well in a village, and the man, his great grandparents were also drawing water from that well and drinking water from that well. But that well had got spoiled and it needed to be abandoned. But this man kept insisting that we should drink water only from this well. And then he forced his family to take water from that. They all got poisoned, they all died, but he kept insisting, and then finally he also died. So he gives this story saying how sometimes we just blindly hold on. We're not talking about blind rituals, we're talking about principles. There are some values, and the biggest and the most important value which comes in a tradition is the value of blessings. We all need blessings. In fact, trust me, even from strangers. I've seen sometimes, on a morning walk in Hanging Garden. So, now after COVID, it has become less, but earlier, a lot of tourists would come. And sometimes, I'm on my walk and I know that I need to cover some time and I have, all those things. And then some of these tourists, they see me in a different costume. They've never seen something like this. So they want a photograph. And I get disturbed. So sometimes I've seen, and somebody requests me, can we take a photograph with you? And then I just ask myself, if I make them happy, well, I just want to make somebody happy because I know there's a lot of energy that comes when you make someone happy. So that blessings have a lot of power, regardless of religion, caste, creed. So one of the most important traditions is, there are two things when it comes to traditions. One is eternity and second is blessings. Eternity means there are some practices which are extremely powerful, and when they are continued for a long period of time, for generations, and when you enter that space, then you also get that energy. I'll give an example to make my point clear. I don't know if you've gone to some traditional ancient temples like Jagannath Puri, or where worship of the Lord has been going on for centuries. And when I enter that space and when I touch the pillars there, or I just breathe, I just be there, I can see my consciousness is catapulted to the next level. And I know it's not because of me. There is some power in tradition. Like in our Ramayana, I always speak this when I speak on Ramayana. There is a story of one man called Sam Matthews from New York. And in 1985, at the age of 30, he came to India and he went on a sightseeing tour. And last time he stopped at a place called near Chitrakoot, where Lord Ram stayed with Mother Sita and Lakshman. There is a place called Manikpur near Chitrakoot. So he went there. He said, let me just visit this village. And as he was going in the village, he saw something that stunned him. he saw one shop, and he saw an old man outside the shop sitting and reading from an ancient text, which later on he realized was Ramayana, Tulsidas Ramayana. But at that point of time, he didn't know it was Ramayana. He was just like, oh, old. And this shlokas, they are chanted in a beautiful meter, melodious meter. So this old man was chanting. And then Sam saw that on the shop, there was a middle-aged man sitting at the counter of the shop. And one small child was crawling in the veranda. And that sight kind of gave him goosebumps, that chant, the mantra, the chanting. Then he walked closer and he spoke to that old man, who are you? And then this old man in his broken English said, this is Ramayana. My great grandparents have also been chanting this. And this is how we spend our last days on this mortal body and in this planet Earth, we read Ramayana. So Sam was deeply touched. He said, wow, this is a beautiful experience. They're connected to Ramayana. And then he went back to New York and he forgot about the whole thing. And his life went on. 30 years passed. And in 2015, as a 60-year-old man, he came back to India and he remembered that he had a spiritual experience 30 years ago. So he said, let me go to Manipur again. And he found out where it is and he went and then he came and he was shocked when he came to that lane and suddenly he saw the same sight. He saw the same old man reading from the same book, chanting the same meter, and the same man sitting on the counter and the small boy crawling on the veranda. He said, what is it? Have I sat on a time machine and gone back in time? What has happened? And then he went closer and then slowly realized, times have changed, but it's all the same. He walked up to that old man and that old man said, yeah, I remember, you are that American. The man you met and you heard Ramayana was my father, who is now dead and gone. I'm an old man now, who was then sitting in the shop, now reading Ramayana. And the child you saw crawling on the veranda is now sitting in the shop, and that is his son playing in the veranda. That's when Sam realized that as things change, we need to embrace something that don't change. And for that, traditions help. Traditions help us connect to something deeper than ourselves, because mostly we are obsessed with ourselves. Let's accept. Even spiritual life is all about me and mine for most of us. That's why I said spiritual life means connect and contribute to make someone else's life also meaningful. So therefore, traditions means basically, when I say eternity, what I mean is leaving a legacy for future. Have you got something from your past which you are willing to leave behind as a legacy for your future? I got something from my parents and my grandparents. Like when I was a child, I grew up in a village with my grandparents who would always tell me stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So this time when I was in France and UK for the last 3 weeks, I only spoke on Ramayana in detail. And there was one girl, imagine this girl, Victoria, a 17-year-old British girl. She's walking in the streets of London, and we have a youth group called Pandav Sena there. They're all in the age group of 16 to 25. So 2 Pandav Sena girls who are all Hare Krishna devotees, they met this British girl, Victoria, 17-year-old girl, in the streets of London. And she said, who are you guys? Oh, we are Pandav Sena. Okay, what do you... They spoke and they said, we are from Pandav. She said, Pandav Sena. She took out her phone, Googled, oh, Pandav Sena, you guys are having some retreat tomorrow? They said, yes, we are going to Paris. Can I join you guys? Come. So this girl, Victoria, 17-year-old girl, she just joins this group and she comes to Paris. This is her first experience with Hare Krishna, and we make her get up at 3:30 in the morning because she's asked for it. She attends our Tulsi Aarti, Mangalarati. She chants all of this, and she does all, we do all the Seva community services, cooking, cleaning, attending classes. And she's also attending the Ramayana class which I'm giving. And I didn't compromise because this was for the youth who are already aware of basics of spiritual life. And here she's a first timer. I said, I can't change everything for her. And I spoke pure Ramayana. And by the end of the 10-day retreat, she's coming up to me and she's saying, I love Ramayana. And I'm like, she's so excited. And then the last 3 days, she was also wearing a sari with all the other girls. I was like, wow. So why did I say this? Tradition, legacy, leaving behind a legacy. So wherever there is tradition, there is power, and it leaves an impact in the hearts of others also. So if we have got something from our ancestors, can we leave behind something? That is the one meaning of tradition. And second is blessing. How much blessings are we receiving? How much are we giving? And can we be part of this tradition of blessings? So I want to do an exercise with all of you. It will just take 5 minutes. Actually, 3 minutes. Okay? This is called as a blessing journal. I've got around 10 types of journaling. Last time I shared, I think, a couple of free writing. I did free writing, and also we did why writing last time, I think.
Why writing was the homework.
Yeah, we did homework kiya tha na, why writing. But today we'll do one type of journaling called as a blessing journal. All of you are ready? It will just take 2 minutes. And listen to the rules. Listen to the when I say start, not before that, you will start writing. You have to write one name. Okay, not now. You just have to write one name whom you would really love to bless. Bless in the sense, see, we are not some great spiritual leaders who can bless others. But at the same time, we want to make God laugh by our attempt to bless others. In the sense, we want to give love. That's the whole idea. So write some name and then just don't say, I want to bless this person or I want to give love to this person. Just write one name and then against that name, just write one prayer or one wish that you would like that person to get or one good thing that you would like to see in that person. You getting what I'm saying? It could be just one sentence. Just one sentence. Like for example, in this Victoria's case, I was speaking about, after I met her on the first day, that night journal, because every night I don't go to sleep without writing 3 blessings on my journal. 3 blessings means something good for 3 other people. Generally, our whole life is based on myself. So I just wrote Victoria and I wrote dash, let this trip be an auspicious beginning for Victoria's spiritual life. And that's all I had to write. And then automatically I could see my heart was filled with love. And I saw one girl, she's Nike, Lali, we call her Lali. I just wrote Lali and then spontaneously I got a desire, let her get the talent of her mother and the intellect of her father. I just wrote that one sentence and the amount of love that gushed forth in my heart, I cannot describe. And I may not even meet her for the next 1 year now. She's a small 12-year-old girl. But after that, the rest of the days in the yatra, that retreat, whenever I saw her, there was so much of positive energy coming from my heart. You're getting this simple thing. It could be anyone in your life. So, till I say stop, you keep writing names and at least one sentence against that name where you wish something good for that person. You can write more if you want. But please follow the rule of free writing, which means you are not going to stop your pen. If you go blank, you write sentences like, I'm going blank, I don't know what to write. Why did Prabhuji give such a stupid exercise? Whatever it is. But don't stop the pen. Because once you stop the pen, you are stopping some supernatural forces from entering you.
It goes into the intellect level.
Yeah, then it goes to the intellect level. Once you stop writing, your head starts getting activated. Keep writing, let your heart throw out blessings. Is that okay? Can we do it?
Yeah.
Your time starts now. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We can continue later. See, you see what you've done now? You've gone beyond yourself. Spiritual life begins with self, where we focus on gratitude for what we have got in life. But at the end of the day, it's all about self. Therefore, we need to also rise beyond the self. So, in this kind of journaling, what you're doing is you're also beginning to see the world beyond yourself. And then, by attracting blessings for other people, you're actually ensuring you're yourself advancing more in your consciousness. So, this is the power of traditions, leaving a legacy and carrying the power of blessings. So, what are the 5 topics in this first chapter of the Gita? The first one, D is for duplicity of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. Then O is for ominous results which ensure that Pandavas will emerge victorious. Then U stands for uncertainty of Arjuna. Fourth, wait, uncertainty reveals what aspect of our lives? Weakness, vulnerability, and how we need to be vulnerable, and we need to be honest and be human. That humanness is the springboard for spiritual experience. That's what we discussed in U. And then the fourth is B is for bewilderment because of body relationship. And what did we discuss in this? Justice versus forgiveness. So justice also has a place. It's not that Arjuna is saying, I'll just forgive, but that forgiveness is a weakness. That's what we discussed. And last topic is T. T is for traditions. Traditions essentially means leaving a legacy and connecting to blessings. So now see, let us just end the chapter now. After all of these 5 topics, how does the chapter end? Text number 45 and 46. Sakshi, can you read the translations of the last 2 verses of this chapter? And that will conclude the first chapter of the Gita.
Better for me if the sons of
Dhritarashtra.
Drishtrashtra.
I'll say it. Dhritarashtra. You just nod your head.
Weapons in hand were to
Kill
weapons
me.
in hand were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Text 46. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Arjuna had taken a vow that anybody who tells me to keep aside my bow and arrows, I'll kill him. He was so proud of his Gandiva bow. And now he himself has kept it aside and he's sitting on the chariot. Just imagine the 2 boxers about to start a boxing match. And so basically, when you want to fight, what do? What is the first thing you do when you want to fight? You stand up, right? You don't sit down to fight. So Arjuna is sitting down and keeping aside his bow. So the war is not going to happen. That's how the first chapter very dramatically explains the situation. And now Krishna is going to address all of these issues in the next 17 chapters of a lively discussion with Arjuna, where he will speak about compassion, he'll speak about forgiveness, he'll speak about all the topics that we have raised in the first chapter. So, congratulations. In the first 2 classes, we have completed the first chapter of the Gita. Like this, we are planning to complete all the 18 chapters one day soon. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions regarding today's class? We'll have just 3 minutes, 5 minutes questions, and then we'll have Kirtan.
अभी ये सब जैसे आप बताते हो ना तब ये सब अच्छा लगता है सुनना सब पर फिर भूल जाता है
हाँ,
ऐसे क्यों होता है
सही बोला आपने. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा होता है.
मतलब आप इन लिटरली जब आप अभी जैसे ट्रेडिशन पे थे ना तो उसके पहले वाले टॉपिक में जब बात हुआ ना उसमें आधा तो भूल गया मतलब ऐसे फिर आप रिकलेक्ट कराओगे तो मुझे कलेक्ट
एक कैसा है ना, इसका साइंस, ये जो आप अभी आए हो ना, आप ऐसे प्रश्न क्यों पूछ रहे हैं पता है? क्योंकि हम सबके अंदर एक ब्रेन वॉशिंग हुआ है कि यू हैव लर्न समथिंग और यू नो समथिंग इफ यू रिमेंबर समथिंग. फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड वी हैव बीन ब्रेन वॉश्ड टू बिलीव दैट इफ यू रिमेंबर दैट मीन्स यू हैव लर्न. बट स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज इज नॉट अप्रोच्ड लाइक दैट. Let me just pause and just try to get this. Spiritual knowledge is based on a different paradigm. Just be present, Hear this, be present, let the discussion go on, and at the right time, what you need to remember, you will remember. Subconscious level, just give me a second, I'll just complete this flow of thought. That's the way it works. It works differently. I've been brainwashed when I was a child. If I don't remember it, I have to put it on the exam paper. Then I get marks and then I've learnt it. But Krishna consciousness, spiritual life doesn't work like that. It's good if you can remember. It's great. And I'll share with you techniques also to remember. But forget that struggle, Struggle chhod do. सब कुछ control करना है. We are actually at the end of the day, we are control freaks, many of us. We want to remember everything. We want to figure out everything. Remember, spiritual growth is not achieved. Spiritual growth is received. It's all based on grace and blessings. So, आप simple रहो, sincere रहो. आपको याद नहीं भी रहा, आपको याद आएगा. जब आना है, सब हो जाएगा. Is that okay? Yes.
Sir, as you mentioned, when they were discussing about their podcast, you said that you read the podcast, you listen to the podcast, then you have to write yours.
You could write.
You
Yeah.
could write your point and like it's your authentic. Sir, isn't in spirituality there is nothing what I, like what's me, what's authentic. In spirituality it's always like कि मैं तो है ही नहीं. So it confuses me a little.
Yeah, there is one theory that मैं तो हूँ ही नहीं. I'm merged with the universe. I become one. So that oneness is right, but that oneness is in quality, not in quantity. Let me explain. Like, we, all of us individuals, we are, the Vedic scriptures call us as Sat Chit Ananda, which means we are eternal, fully conscious and fully blissful. To make it even more simple, what it means is, eternal means, in our day-to-day parlance, stability. See, we all want stability. We want a roof over our head. We want some house. Stability का need होता है ना सबका, stability. Clarity means एक awareness, consciousness, awareness होना चाहिए. सबको clarity चाहिए. Satchit means consciousness or clarity. And Ananda means bliss, basically love. Because the highest happiness is experienced in love. So Satchit Ananda means stability, clarity and love. Now in the material realm, there is no stability and we are many times confused and we also don't experience real love all the time. So spiritual means basically when you experience in a deep sense stability, clarity and love, and that's when you become one with the universe, because the universe, the cosmos, the Lord, the force, if you call it, Krishna is Sat Chit Ananda. So you become one. You become the same, but you retain your individuality. Even though you become one in quality, but you don't lose your individuality in that. Like for example, you are Indian citizen, right? You are Indian. What is your name? What is your name?
My name is Mayank.
Mayank is an Indian citizen. So let's put Indian citizen as Satchit Ananda now. You are Indian citizen. Mr. Narendra Modi is also Indian citizen. Both of you are Indian citizens. X is equal to Y. We say this, X is equal to Y, Y is equal to Z, so X is equal to Z. But we can't say you are Indian, Prime Minister is also Indian. That doesn't mean you are Prime Minister. Right? Similarly, you are Satchit Ananda. The Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, is also Satchit Ananda. So when you realize you're Satchit Ananda, you have become one. आपका अपना वो चला गया. But still, you are not that. आप समझ रहे, आपका एक individual identity रहा. See, we are from the Bhakti school. In Bhakti school, we teach how to have an eternal relationship of love. A lover and a beloved, they become one. In an archetypal, excellent utopian love scenario, the lover and the beloved have become one. They are one in spirit. But there will be no service and reciprocation if they are not separate. So we are one and we are also separate. This is called Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. This is called inconceivable oneness and difference. So you are one. आपका अपनापन चला गया. अपनापन चला गया मतलब मटेरियल चला गया, spiritually you have become full of bliss, and then there you have a reciprocation. Is that okay? So when I'm appealing to you to write, I'm appealing you to discover your spiritual relationship with the Lord. Okay, any other comments? So I hope you remember the two exercises. One is next time when we meet, what is your unique contribution that you would like to explore in your life, which you can contribute to this world, and what is the other one? I also forgot the second one. Yeah, what is your unique fascination which helps you to connect with yourself, and what helps you to contribute meaningfully to this world? If you can explore these two, this will help you understand and enter the second chapter of the Gita with much more excitement. Because second chapter is going to reveal to you something amazing which you never thought of. Many of us have never thought of. Who really am I? Generally we say, who am I? I am Indian, I am Marwadi, I am man. That's what we say. But there is more to our identity than what we perceive. So that we will be discussing in the second chapter of the Gita. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.